I employ 150 people. How many people do you employ?
I work for a business
Do you
with a
employ
great
anybody?
employer.
But you don't employ anybody, so you don't know where jobs come from because you don't create them. And I can tell you that I
jobs
create
by
jobs
stealing money off
to make
Wall
a
Street?
profit
By
for
stealing money out of
myself.
pension funds? Is that how you create jobs? Because a burglar is a job too.
I don't steal
is that
money
the job
from anybody.
You have?
But
by speculating on the stock market and driving up the prices of commodities throughout the world so people starve? Is that how you create jobs, Peter?
Ryan, hold on for a second. I want Peter to get a chance.
Yeah, Ryan doesn't understand anything about jobs or why we have them or why we need them. We don't even want jobs. People would rather retire. What we want is the production associated with jobs. We want more consumer goods so our life is better. So how do we create productive jobs? That's free market capitalism. You need to have an employer that has a profit motive and has the capital to employ people.
Okay, but Peter, let me ask you a question. There's also no shortage of people in poverty here in the United States. We went through the stats, 46 million people living in poverty in the United States. That's more than the combined populations of Canada, Finland, and Norway. Isn't there something wrong with a system where there's that many people poor in this country while the wealthy are doing just fine right now?
Well, first of all, poverty is always relative, so you have to look at poor people relative to, poor people in America could be, well off by other standards. But I agree, the country is getting poorer because the government is getting bigger. We no longer have the vibrant free market economy that we used to have, where we have limited government and maximum freedom and maximum economic growth. It's the government that is starving the middle class. It's the government that's impoverishing everybody.
Let me give Ryan a chance to talk about this figure too. 46 million Americans in poverty, as I said, much larger than if you combine the populations of Canada, Finland, and Norway.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge problem that was created, frankly, by people like Peter speculating on Wall Street and playing around with everybody's money and gambling like it's a casino, like it doesn't really matter, like it's all a game of numbers. And that's just not the case. Those numbers are people. Those people are hurting right now throughout America. There's millions of people without jobs. There's millions of people who can't afford to pay the mortgage.
Hire them.
There's millions of people. There's millions of people out there who can't put food on the table because of people like Peter who speculate on the stock market, drive up the cost of goods, drive up.
You're not hiring anybody.
Let me bring it back.
You haven't written one paycheck.
Okay, Peter, let's bring it back to the original premise. And the premise is Occupy Wall Street. A year later, Peter, what do you think it's done? Has it created a conversation, a debate in this country? Has it moved things forward? Short answer if you can.
No, I mean, nothing has changed. Look at Ben Bernanke with QE3. What is the goal of QE3? The Fed is trying to artificially stimulate the housing market by lowering mortgage rates so we can go deeper into debt, so we can spend more money. The government is repeating all the mistakes that inflated the housing bubble, that led to the financial crisis, that caused the protest on Wall Street in the first place. So we've done nothing. We're embracing the same socialistic central banking policies that almost destroyed the economy before. But next time, it's not going to be almost. We're going to have complete destruction. And the only solution is going to be to go back to the free market and to really let capitalism function.
All right.
If it was up to your other
Peter,
guests, we'd all be swimming in government-created poverty.
Thank you, Peter.
We have plenty of printing press money, and we'd all have menial jobs with nothing to show for it.
Peter, thanks so much. Ryan?
Yeah, so Occupy Wall Street fundamentally changed the conversation in America. Before we were talking about default crises and the Tea Party and all of these ridiculous things. And what we're talking about now is economic inequality and how people who work hard for a living and play by the rules just aren't being rewarded. And we're punishing hardworking people in this country right now. And that's just not what America's supposed to stand for. Occupy really brought that issue to the forefront again. They went to the doorstep of Wall Street and said, you know what? I've got a great education, I played by all the rules, I want a good job too, and I want to be able to create a family in the greatest country on earth. But the problem is that there's a certain amount of people who have decoupled productivity from economic gains. They've decoupled wages from the productivity of this country. So while people on Wall Street are making millions and billions, there's people in the middle class in middle America who are not making the money that they used to make, even working the same job. And what we've got to do is fix that problem. We've got to say, if you work hard for a living, then you should get a fair wage for a hard day's work.
We're going to have to leave
I
it there.
agree, but if we're going to have this
Peter,
massive government,
Ryan,
then
thank you
it's
very
never
much.
Happen.
We've run out of time. I wish we could talk further, but we can't.